Yo, what's up? I'm Axel Wilkinson, and I want to show you a really cool technique for creating a pencil sketch with your video in FXhome. It's fairly simple, very adjustable, and totally awesome. I originally learned this technique from Colin Smith for use in Photoshop. He's a great, really good Photoshop guy over at photoshopcafe.com. But the technique works swimmingly in FXhome as well for use on video. So let's take a look. I've got a clip imported. This is a clip from our recent trailer. And I'm going to right-click and make it a composite shot. I'll just click OK. And now we need to desaturate this layer. So I'm going to use the hue saturation and lightness effect. There's other effects you could use as well, but I'm going to stick with effects that are available in every version of FXhome, so anybody can try this. And then we'll just drag the saturation all the way to the left. Okay, now we need to duplicate this layer. So select the layer and press Ctrl D or right-click and choose Duplicate. Now select the top layer and let's apply an invert effect. Okay, so we'll just drag that on there. Now for the fun part, go up to the layer properties for this top layer and change the blend mode to color dodge. And there you have it. Beautiful, no? At this point, the layers are perfectly canceling each other out because one is inverted from the other, and the color dodge just creates a complete cancellation of each layer. So what we're going to do is modify the top layer, and then anywhere where the layers aren't identical will start to appear. So we're going to do this using a blur effect. So we'll just grab the basic blur, drag that onto this layer, and you instantly have a sort of line drawing of our image. Now to make this look a bit more like a finished sketch, we can just modify the blur settings. Increase the radius, and we can bring some shading back into this drawing. So I think somewhere right about in there, around 20. That looks pretty good. So that's looking very much like a pencil drawing to me. I really love the look of this effect. And that's basically how the effect works. Now there are some variations that we can do to this effect as well. So I'll touch on a few of those also. First of all, you can use different types of blur. So I'll just hide this one. And let's maybe try a zoom blur. Add that to your footage, and then if you experiment with different levels of negative strength or positive strength, you can see how that changes the look of the image. So just depending on the appearance you are after for your footage, those obviously are different variations on the same theme. If you have FXhome Ultimate, I really like the effect you can get from a bilateral blur, where here by adjusting these two sliders, if you crank this one well up, and then increase the threshold as well, you can really get richer blacks in there and just gives a little bit more punch, makes a little bit bolder of a sketch there. So I personally really like the look of this effect when you use the bilateral blur. Now maybe colored pencils are more your thing. Well, we can do that too by adding another copy of the original layer to the top of our footage. Now on this copy, go back into the layer properties, and for the blend mode, select color. And there you go, instant colored pencil drawing. Now the color mode is super awesome in this application because we can restore the original color to the sketch using the original layer, but we can also easily colorize it in other ways by, for example, using a solid colored plane. Maybe I'll just grab this blue. Turn off that layer we were just using, and then on this plane, if I set that to color, and that way we can make it look like it was drawn with a blue sketch pencil. Or, as another option, you could use a gradient if you just wanted to do a kind of a dramatic colorizing effect. Maybe I'll just drag a gradient onto this plane. Let's do a bright green and a bright red. I'll set this to normal. And so you could just do some interesting colorizing effects that way as well using gradients, or you could even take another image or another video clip and lay it over the top and take the color from that. But basically anytime you use the color blend mode, it's only going to apply the color from this layer to areas in the frame that are not white. So there you go. This isn't a super complicated technique, but it is super fun to play with, and I love the variety of results you can get. So have fun with it, and I'll see you next time.